Been MGI. Have you ever noticed how the very first thoughts you entertain in the morning have the power to shape your entire day? Before the noise of the world floods in, before the texts, the headlines, the demands, there's a sacred space. A quiet window of stillness, where your mind is fresh, your heart is open, and your spirit is listening. That space is where transformation begins. What you say to yourself in those early moments, it matters. It's not just routine. It's not just ritual. It's the blueprint of how you'll walk through the next 24 hours. You see, most people don't realize this. Most people wake up reacting. The alarm goes off and instantly, they're on autopilot. Grab the phone. Scroll social media. Check the news. Panic about time. Rush into the day like they're already behind. But here's the truth. Power is never found in reaction. Power is born in intention. Let me ask you this: how do you begin your day? Are you choosing your energy, or are you letting the world choose it for you? There's a reason top performers, spiritual leaders, mindful creators, and resilient overcomers all talk about the power of a morning practice. It's not just about waking up early or drinking lemon water. It's about claiming the day before the world lays claim on you. And one of the most powerful tools you can use to do that is declaration. Not mindless affirmations. Not feel-good phrases you recite without conviction. I'm talking about declarations rooted in truth, anchored in identity, spoken from a place of vision, purpose, and clarity. Because when you declare something with intention, you're not just speaking words, you're writing a new narrative. Think of it like this. Every morning is a blank page. You are the author, and the first words you write, they set the tone for the entire story. So imagine beginning your day with the words, I am not who I was, I am who I choose to become. Or, I rise today to walk like the person I've been praying to become. These aren't just mantras. They are mental armor. They are spiritual compass points. They are energetic shifts that move you from fear to faith, from autopilot to awareness, from scarcity to alignment. Because let's be honest, the world is loud. It will try to tell you who you are, what you lack, what's not possible. It will sell you stress, sell you comparison, sell you urgency. But before the world has a chance to define you, you must define yourself. And that's what a morning declaration does. It's your soul reminding your mind, this is who I am. This is what I stand for. This is what I will carry into today. When I first started practicing morning declarations, I'll admit it felt silly. It was awkward at first. I'd look in the mirror and say things like, I am enough. I am capable. I am a magnet for growth. And a voice inside would whisper, who are you kidding? But I stayed with it. I kept speaking even when I didn't fully believe. Because deep down, I knew I was planting seeds. And sure enough, those words became roots. They took hold in my mindset. They started shaping my choices, my confidence, my energy. They reminded me every morning, I have a say in how this day unfolds. And you do too. So what will you say to yourself tomorrow morning? Will you start your day by reacting or by rising? Will you let the news, the notifications, and the noise decide how you feel, or will you take 1 minute, just one sacred minute, to speak truth into your own spirit? 12 powerful declarations can change everything. Not because they're magic, but because they're intentional. They are reminders, realignments, reinforcements of who you are and who you're becoming. Because your mindset is your compass, your words are your tools, and your mornings are your launchpad. So today, I invite you to reclaim the first moments of your day, to step away from the scroll, to silence the noise, to center yourself in truth. Start with one declaration, one statement that speaks life into your soul. Say it out loud. Feel the power of your own voice. Because you're not here to drift, you are here to design your life. And it all starts in the morning. Let me ask you something personal. Who are you? Are you the sum of your past mistakes? Are you the labels others gave you? Are you the version of yourself that stumbled, fell short, or didn't live up to expectations? Or are you something more? You see, every single day when you wake up, you are handed a fresh opportunity, a clean slate, a new vote in favor of who you want to become. And here's the truth that most people never fully embrace. You are not who you were. You are who you choose to become. Your past may have shaped you, but it does not own you. Yes, you made choices you regret. We all have. Yes, there were moments when you fell short, stayed silent, gave up too soon. But that's not the whole story. That's not the final chapter unless you let it be. I want you to imagine for a moment that your life is a book, and every morning, you pick up the pen. The words you write today, they matter. The choices you make today, they count. You are not here to keep rereading old pages. You are here to write new ones, bold, redemptive, courageous ones. So the question becomes, who are you choosing to become today? Let's get real. Many people live like they're stuck in a script someone else wrote. They wake up every day reacting to opinions, to expectations, to fear. They chase approval. They chase love. They chase success. But here's the thing. You don't need to chase what's already meant for you. You don't need to hustle for worthiness or beg the world to validate your dreams. Because you don't chase, you attract. And I'm not talking about magic or wishful thinking. I'm talking about alignment. The moment you stop chasing outcomes and start becoming the version of yourself who naturally receives those outcomes, your whole life begins to shift. Let me break this down. Chasing comes from a place of lack. It says, I don't have it, so I need to run after it. But attraction comes from a place of identity. It says, I am it, so what belongs to me will find me. Instead of chasing success, become a person of discipline, focus, and vision. Instead of chasing love, become someone who walks in self-respect and emotional wholeness. Instead of chasing approval, become someone grounded in truth and authenticity. People, opportunities, and outcomes are drawn to clarity. When you stand in your truth calm, rooted, unshakably, you create gravity. It's like a tuning fork. When you strike the right frequency, the right things begin to resonate. But don't get me wrong, it takes work. It takes patience. It takes shedding old patterns and walking with a new mindset. It means saying no to desperation and yes to development. So let me ask you this. What are you chasing that you could start attracting by simply becoming more of who you were meant to be? And that leads me to the next truth, maybe the most important one of all. You are not the audience of your life. You are the author. Too many people live like bystanders, watching, waiting, hoping someone else will hand them a script, hoping the right job will appear, the right partner will show up, the right moment will come along. But life doesn't work like that. Life responds to action, to choice, to authorship. You're not here to be a background character in your own story. You're the lead, the writer, the one who gets to decide what happens next. Let that sink in for a second. Because maybe, just maybe, you've been holding the pen all along, but you were afraid to use it. Afraid to write something bold. Afraid to edit out the parts that no longer serve you. Afraid to start a new chapter. But you don't need permission to rewrite the story. You don't need applause. You need intention. Every single choice you make today is a sentence in the book of your life. Will it be a sentence of courage or compromise? Will it speak of purpose or passivity? Yes, maybe you've made mistakes. Maybe you've written some messy chapters. But so what? Every powerful story has plot twists. Every real hero faces battles, setbacks, dark nights of the soul. What matters most is what you do now. What matters most is what you write next. So here's the invitation. Don't let the past define your future. Don't chase what isn't aligned. Don't wait for someone else to lead your life. You are not who you were. You don't chase, you attract. You are not the audience, you are the author. Say it, feel it, live it, because the pen is in your hand. And the next chapter, it's waiting. Let me share something with you that took me far too long to understand. Your time, your energy, and your peace are sacred, not just valuable, sacred. And until you treat them that way, the world will keep treating them like they're disposable. Let's be honest, how often do we wake up and immediately give ourselves away? We grab our phones before we've even taken a breath. We check emails before we check in with ourselves. We say yes before asking if we even want to. And before noon, we're already drained mentally, emotionally, spiritually. We wonder why we feel overwhelmed. We wonder why we lose focus. We wonder why our goals feel so far away. But here's the truth no one told us. You don't owe your availability to everyone. You don't need to answer every call. You don't have to respond instantly. You don't have to say yes to every request that comes knocking. In fact, one of the most powerful things you can do for your growth is this. Learn to say no without guilt and yes without resentment. Because saying no isn't selfish, it's wise. It's recognizing that your energy is not infinite. It's understanding that your peace is not a luxury, it's a necessity. It's acknowledging that your time is a non-renewable resource and not everyone deserves access to it. Let me give you a personal example. There was a time in my life when I said yes to everything. Every meeting, every favor, every event. I was running on fumes, thinking I was being helpful, thinking I was being productive. But deep down, I was exhausted. I was resentful. And the worst part? I was completely disconnected from my purpose. Then one day, I sat down and asked myself, what am I giving my life to? And I didn't like the answer. That's when I started setting boundaries, not to shut the world out, but to protect what matters within. Boundaries aren't walls. They're gates. And you hold the key. When you protect your time, you gain clarity. When you protect your energy, you gain focus. When you protect your peace, you unlock your true power. So I want to challenge you. Before you check your phone, before you give your day away to other people's demands, take a deep breath. Ask yourself, is this aligned with who I'm becoming? Does this nourish my purpose or drain it? And if the answer is not, then honor that no. You don't need to justify your wellness. You don't need to apologize for protecting your inner world. Because when you treat your life like it matters, others will start to treat it that way too. And that brings me to a powerful truth that will carry you through even the toughest days. Discipline is my language. Consistency is my superpower. If you've ever relied on motivation to change your life, you already know the truth. Motivation fades. It comes and goes like a gust of wind. But discipline? Discipline stays. Discipline is what gets you out of bed when you don't feel like it. It's what helps you make the healthy choice when it's easier to quit. It's what keeps you building when the progress feels invisible. Anyone can be excited for a day. But the people who build great lives, they show up even when excitement is gone. Think about that for a moment. How many goals have you started with fire only to burn out because you were waiting to feel like showing up? Discipline doesn't ask how you feel. It just asks that you honor your word. Discipline is a quiet force. It doesn't brag. It doesn't need a stage. It whispers, we said we'd do this, so let's do it. And over time, it does something remarkable. It becomes who you are. Not someone who occasionally shows up, but someone who always does. Consistency, then, becomes your superpower. It's what compounds the ordinary into the extraordinary. It's what transforms small habits into unstoppable momentum. It's what makes your progress inevitable even when it's slow, even when no one's watching. Here's the best part. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be the best. You just need to be consistent. Because greatness isn't built in a day. It's built in the quiet moments. The early mornings, the late nights, the steady rhythm of I'll show up again tomorrow. So the next time you don't feel motivated, don't ask, how do I get motivated? Ask, what would a disciplined version of me do right now? And do that. That version of you, the one who honors time, energy, peace, and discipline. That version is unstoppable. So today, say it out loud. Feel it in your bones. My time, my energy, and my peace are sacred. Discipline is my language. Consistency is my superpower. This isn't just about building habits. This is about building you. There's a quiet truth that most people overlook on their journey of personal growth. You are already enough, right now, as you are. And yet, you are allowed to want more. We often get it backwards. We think that growth only comes from not being good enough. We think we have to criticize ourselves into change. We chase improvement as if we're broken. But that's not growth. That's punishment. Real growth doesn't start from shamite, starts from respect. You grow not because you're lacking. You grow because you value who you already are. You know that your potential deserves more space to breathe. You can look in the mirror and say, I love who I am. And in the next breath, say, but I'm not done yet. That's not a contradiction. That's wisdom. Think about a tree. It doesn't grow because it hates its roots. It grows because its roots are strong. Because it's reaching for light. Because it's built to become more. And so are you. Let me be clear. You are not chasing worth. You are expanding your capacity. You are investing in your future without subtracting your present value. That's real power. That's sustainable growth. Because when growth is rooted in self-respect and not self-rejection, it doesn't burn you out. It lifts you up. So every morning, remind yourself, I am already enough, but I choose to grow. Not out of pressure but out of purpose. Not to prove anything but to become everything you were born to be. And while you're growing, while you're stretching, while you're becoming, there's something you need to protect above all else. Your inner truth. Because in a world full of noise, opinions, and expectations, it's easy to lose yourself. You scroll through social media, and suddenly you feel behind. Someone questions your path, and you start to doubt your purpose. People project their fears onto you, and you begin to shrink your dreams. But hear me now. No outside voice is louder than your inner truth. You weren't put on this planet to live someone else's idea of success. You weren't born to play small just because it makes other people comfortable. You have an inner compass. You have a voice within that knows your values, your vision, and your worth. And the more you trust that voice, the more peace, clarity, and confidence you'll carry into the world. Sure, the critics will still be there. The doubters won't go away. But their volume won't matter because you've turned up the volume of your truth. And when you do that, something incredible happens. You stop asking for permission. You stop explaining yourself. You stop bending to fit into rooms that were never built for you. You start walking with purpose in it because you know exactly how it will all unfold, but because you're rooted in who you are and what you stand for. So when the world gets loud, go quiet. Return to yourself, to the whisper inside that says, "This is who I am, and this is where I'm going." That's your anchor. That's your fire. That's your direction. And finally, let me leave you with this. You were not made to collapse under pressure. You were made to rise through it. Let me say that again for the part of you that's tired, that's unsure, that's been walking through a storm lately. You are built for pressure, prepared for purpose, and empowered by faith. Because pressure doesn't break you, it builds you. It shapes your strength. It sharpens your focus. It reveals your courage. Comfort zones never forge character. Only challenge does that. And I get it, pressure is uncomfortable. Sometimes it feels like everything is against you. Like your timeline is off. Like your prayers are unanswered. Like you're carrying more than you can hold. But what if I told you? The delay is not a denial, it's development. The struggle is not a punishment, it's preparation. Every mountain you're climbing is sculpting a deeper resilience in you. Every unanswered question is building your faith. Every challenge you're walking through is shaping the version of you that can handle the dream you've been asking for. Faith doesn't mean having all the answers. It means moving anyway, even when the path isn't clear, even when you feel like you're walking through fog, even when fear is whispering louder than hope. Because that's how greatness is born, it in certainty, but in courage. So the next time life presses in, don't shrink, don't give up, don't run. Rise. Stand tall and remind yourself, I am built for pressure. I am prepared for purpose. I am powered by faith. And no matter what comes your way, you'll walk through it with fire in your heart, clarity in your mind, and truth in your bones. Because you're not here just to survive. You're here to lead from within. Let's talk about something we all face, so few of us embrace. The unknown. You know, that foggy, uncertain space where the path isn't clear. Where the answers haven't shown up yet. Where the what-ifs get loud and the fear starts whispering all kinds of stories. Most people avoid the unknown. They run from it. They stay where it's familiar, predictable, safe, even if it means staying stuck. Because not knowing feels uncomfortable. It feels risky. But what if I told you the unknown isn't something to fear? It's something to own. Yes, don't fear the unknown. I own the unknown. Because here's what I've learned. Growth doesn't live in comfort zones. Purpose doesn't show up where everything is certain. And your potential? It only gets activated when you step into unfamiliar ground. Think about every breakthrough in your life. Every turning point. Every level up moment. Chances are it happened after a season of uncertainty. It happened when you took a step forward even when you couldn't see the whole staircase. The unknown is not your enemy. It's your invitation. It's life saying, you're ready to explore more of who you are. But to step into the unknown, you have to let go of one thing, the need for guarantees. You don't need to know how it's all going to work out. You just need to know that you will figure it out. That you will grow through it. That you are strong enough, creative enough, and aligned enough to handle whatever unfolds. So today, What unknown are you avoiding? What move are you postponing until you feel ready? Maybe today is the day to stop waiting and start walking. And on that path, you'll encounter something else: rejection. You'll hear a lot of no's. Doors will close. People will pass you by. Opportunities you hoped for might not land in your lap. But listen close, this is important. Every no you face is not a failure. It's a redirection. It's the universe saying, this isn't the door for you because a better one is coming. I can't tell you how many times I've been crushed by rejection, only to look back months later and realize that no was the best thing that ever happened. That job you didn't get, that person who walked away, that opportunity that fell through. What if that rejection saved you from misalignment? What if that closed door protected you from settling? What if that delay is what made space for something greater? When you start seeing rejection as divine rerouting, everything changes. You stop chasing what's not meant for you. You stop forcing your way into rooms where your soul doesn't belong. You start trusting that what's right for you can't pass you by. So the next time you hear a no, take a deep breath, say thank you, and keep moving forward. Because rejection isn't the end of the road. It's just a signpost pointing toward the right one. Every no I face is redirecting me to the right yes. Let that be your mantra. And finally, here's a truth that has brought me peace more than anything else on this journey. You're not behind. I know the world moves fast. I know it feels like everyone's ahead, starting families, launching businesses, living the dream. You scroll through social media and it feels like you're late to your own life. But listen, you're not late. You're on time. You are exactly where you need to be. Not because everything is perfect, but because this moment is preparing you for what's next. Your journey has its own rhythm, its own timing, its own purpose. And just because it doesn't look like someone else's doesn't mean it's not valuable. Comparison is a liar. It will rob you of joy and distract you from the quiet, sacred unfolding of your own path. You don't need to rush. You don't need to catch up. You just need to trust. Because right now, in this very moment, life might be building foundations you can't yet see. It might be strengthening your character, refining your vision, and shaping you into the version of yourself that can handle what's coming. So instead of saying, "Why not now?" try asking, "What is this moment preparing me for?" Patience is not weakness. Patience is power. And the people who win long-term aren't the ones who rush. They're the ones who trust. I am not behind. I'm exactly where I need to be to prepare for where I'm going. Let that truth ground you today. Let it calm the noise and still the panic. You're not lost, you are becoming. And the future you're building? It's worth the wait. Let me ask you something powerful. Who is the person you've been praying to become? The version of you that shows up with confidence. The one who speaks with clarity, moves with purpose, and lives with alignment. That version that you envision when you close your eyes and dare to believe in something bigger. Now here's the real question. What would happen if you stopped waiting and started walking like that person right now? You see, so many of us live life on pause. We wait to feel more confident. We wait to be ready. We wait until the fear disappears, until the timing is perfect, until everything makes sense. But the truth is, confidence doesn't come before action. It comes from action. Read that again. You don't become courageous by thinking about it. You don't become ready by waiting. You become who you were meant to be by moving, Gavin, when you're scared. Especially when you're scared. So today, I want to invite you into a new way of thinking. What if you stopped living like the current version of yourself and started living like the future version who already has the life you want? What if you got up tomorrow morning and instead of saying, "I hope I become that person someday," you looked in the mirror and said, "Today I walk like I already am." Because here's the secret. That version of you, the confident one, the focused one, the powerful one, they're not a fantasy. They're not out of reach. They are already within you. They just need to be activated. And how do you activate them? Through the choices you make today. That future version of you eats differently, speaks differently, protects their time, chooses peace over panic, shows up to the hard stuff with grace and grit. They don't wait for approval, they live in alignment. They don't ask, "What if I fail?" They ask, "What if I fly?" You don't become that person by accident. You become them by intention. By choosing, every single day, To walk like your future self? No. Let me give you a practical way to think about it. Imagine you already had the life you're working toward. How would you show up today? Would you scroll for hours or use that time to build? Would you gossip or speak with integrity? Would you skip the hard work or lean in with focus and follow through? You don't need to wait until the world reflects your success. You start by reflecting it within. The external follows the internal. Reality shifts to meet identity. So don't live like a spectator, waiting for the breakthrough to arrive. Live like a participant who already belongs in the room. Live like someone who walks in faith, not fear. Because when you do, the world begins to respond differently. Opportunities find you. People respect you. Doors open it because luck found you, but because your energy told the world, I'm already becoming. This is not arrogance, it's self-respect. It's choosing to carry yourself with dignity before the world gives you a title. It's moving with excellence when no one is watching. It's saying, I trust the person I'm becoming, and I'm going to show up like them today. And yes, some days will feel off. Some days you'll want to slip back into old habits. Some days the inner critic will be louder than your vision. But that's okay, because every time you realign, every time you recommit, every time you say, I rise today to walk like the person I've been praying to become, you take another step closer to living it. You shift your energy. You shift your decisions. You shift your destiny. And soon, what once felt far away becomes your new normal. So don't wait for the world to catch up. Don't wait for the perfect moment. You are the moment. The version of you that inspires others, that lives in peace, that leads with power. They're not waiting for you at the finish line. They're calling you forward right now. So take the step. Speak with their voice. Move with their posture. Choose with their clarity. Because when you do, something magical happens. You stop chasing change and you start embodying it. Take a deep breath with me for a moment. Inhale. Exhale. Now ask yourself quietly, what kind of life do I want to live? Who do I want to become? That question, simple as it sounds, is the foundation of transformation. And the most powerful part? You don't need to wait for next year, or next week, or even tomorrow. You begin answering that question the moment you wake up each day. Every morning, before the world speaks, before the noise creeps in, you are given a sacred gift, a blank canvas. And what you choose to write on it, what you declare, believe, embody becomes the brushstroke that shapes your day. This is why morning declarations matter. They are more than just words. They are the framework of a mindset. They are the energy behind your action. They are the reminder of who you were and who you're becoming. So let me remind you, one more time. These 12 morning declarations aren't just motivational phrases to repeat. They're daily commitments. Commitments to show up deliberately, intentionally, powerfully. Let's recap what you're committing to. You are not who you were, you are who you choose to become. You don't chase, you attract by becoming what your dreams require. You are the author, not the audience, of your life. Your time, energy, and peace are sacred and you protect them like they matter. Discipline is your language and consistency is your superpower. You are already a nugget and you still choose to grow. No voice outside of you is louder than the truth within you. You are built for pressure, prepared for purpose, and empowered by faith. You don't fear the unknown, you own it. Every rejection is redirection to the right yes. You are not behind, you're being prepared for what's ahead. You rise each day to walk like the person you've been praying to become. Every one of those declarations holds weight, and together they form a foundation strong enough to carry your dreams. Because let's be honest, life will test you. Distractions will pull at you. Doubt will whisper in the quiet moments. Comparison will try to rush your path. And fear will always want the last word. But this is how you fight back. Not by shouting, not by pushing harder, but by grounding yourself in truth. By starting each day with a clear mind, a focused heart, and a commitment to live with purpose and not passivity. That's the power of these declarations. They recenter you. They realign your mind before the world can misalign it. They give you something solid to stand on so when the storms come, you don't sway with the wind. And here's what I know for sure. You don't need to wait for motivation to show up. You don't need to feel inspired every single morning. What you need is intention. Because real change doesn't come from feeling, it comes from choosing. Choosing to act even when you're tired. Choosing to believe even when things don't look clear. Choosing to speak life over yourself even when your past tries to remind you of who you used to be. You aren't living from emotion. You're living from identity. And the more you return to these declarations, the more they become part of your DNA. They're not just things you say, they're how you live. So here's your invitation. Start tomorrow with a new ritual. Before the scroll, the emails, the noises, it in silence. Say your declarations out loud. Write them down. Feel them. Believe them. And then move through your day as if they are already true because they are. You're not powerless. You're not too late. You're not stuck. You are becoming. And it all begins not someday but today. So don't just listen to these words. Live them. Make them your compass. Make them your mirror. Make them your morning rhythm. Because when you anchor yourself in truth daily, deliberately, and consistently, there is nothing you cannot build. Your future isn't waiting at the end of the road. It begins with your next thought, your next breath, your next declaration. So rise and say it with me one more time. I rise today to walk like the person I've been praying to become. And that is how transformation begins.